Hello, thanks for joining me today. This is Danny and welcome back to my modded 1.10.2 series. Today we are going to be getting back into Botania again. We're going to continue with Botania. I know I said in the last episode that we would be doing Botania every other episode, but I decided that I really want to go to the end in the next episode, and I want to go there with the crystal bow. So that is kind of going to be our end game today, the Botania's crystal bow. In order to do that, we're going to have to make contact with the elves. So we're going to have to do the portal to Alfheim so that we can make dragonstone. So that's the plan today. So one of the first things that we're going to have to do is make a single piece of Terrrasteel. So to make Terrrasteel, we are going to need a whole bunch of lapis and a whole bunch of mana and a few other resources. Terrrasteel is kind of expensive. It's one of the most expensive metals in Botania. We see a hey, it doesn't show. Okay, whatever. So we're gonna make a terrestrial agglomeration plate. That's 3 lapis. We have to make a bunch of runes, and then we have to make a block of mana steel. So we actually haven't even made mana steel yet, have we? So let's just grab a block of iron. You may notice that this thing is not running. Is it broken? Nope, our mana pool is full. So we'll check this out. Isn't that awesome? I used a little bit of mana, and now it's going to fill the pool back up. I love that. Okay. So now we need 3 blocks of lapis. So we have 1. We're going to need 2 more. And then we have to make a whole bunch of runes. So we have the air, we have the earth, but we're going to need water, mana, and fire. So fishing rod, a sugar cane, a bone meal, 1 piece of mana powder, 1 mana steel ingot, and now we are making the water rune. And we're going to need a piece of living rock, but I think I have a few in here. We're going to need a few of them, so we may as well. Oh, and it's done already? So that's our rune of water. These are all tier 1 runes. The elements, and then the mana, which is a whole bunch of mana steel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana steel, and 1 mana pearl. You know what, let's just make 1 because we don't have all that many ender pearls. I think this is the only thing that we're going to need it for at this point. So our mana pool, our mana pearl, and then 5 mana steel. So you don't have to right click with the wand of the forest anymore. It just starts as soon as all the ingredients are there. And it's also much better at grabbing the living rock when you toss it. So the runic altar has gotten a little easier to work with. Probably easier to automate too. We may have to do that. We might have to do some auto crafting with Botania again. Like I did in my... Oh, it didn't grab it. I was just talking about how much better it was at grabbing it. Okay, a gunpowder, a nether wart, a nether brick, a mana steel, and a mana powder. That is going to make us a fire rune. Terrestrial agglomeration plate. Oh, what are we missing? We just did the fire. There it is. Okay, and then we're going to need a bunch of blocks of lapis. I think 4 blocks of lapis, and then we're going to need 5 living rock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 3x3 hole in the earth. And I was planning on putting this right about... I don't want to put it by the water. Let's put it right there. We do an X with our living rock. And we fill the rest of it with lapis. And then we stick that in the middle. And then all we have to do is throw some stuff on top of here. But before we can do that, we have to get some mana to it. And the only way that we can get mana to this thing is with sparks. So sparks are a way to move mana around. Petals. We're going to need 2 of them. Oh. Actually, now whatever. And of course, we already played around with mana spreaders. That's one way to move mana around. Sparks are a little bit faster. Well, they're a lot faster. As we will soon see. So to make a piece of mana steel, we are going to need 1 mana pearl, 1 mana diamond, and 1 mana steel. If I remember correctly. And we have to throw these things on here. Now, this thing is going to use about a half of a mana pool. And you have to be a little careful when you drop these things, because as soon as you drop all these things are dropped, it's going to start sucking mana from the nearest spark. And well, from all the sparks that are within range. And if you happen to pick up the items, it'll stop the process and you'll lose all that mana. Or if you run out of mana, it'll just suck up all your mana and that'll be the end of that. So that's how the sparks work. We've got mana going from one spark to another. Hey, where's my bow? Yeah, whatever. What are you doing? It's kind of slow when you only have 1 spark. Yay! There's our first piece of Terrrasteel. Dancer in the dark. And we're actually going to need the nuggets for this. So now we need to make the portal to Alfheim. I think I'm going to put it up here somewhere. For that, we're going to need 2 mana pools. We're going to need an Elven gateway core. That's what we're going to need some of our Terrrasteel for. And a bunch of living wood. Let's see. And some glimmering living wood. Alpheim, the portal to Alfheim. So right now, all we can see under Alpheim is the portal to Alfheim, because we haven't made contact with the elves yet. It's said that once the elves used to share the world with us Minecrafters, due to unknown events, they would have been banished back to their own world, Alfheim. Experimentation has been done in an attempt to bridge the gap between the 2 worlds, and means of creating a portal that does just that have been devised. Creating a portal proves not to be an easy task, as quite a few exquisite resources are necessary. The requirements are as follows: 8 living wood blocks, 3 glimmering living wood. Oh, okay, 3 glimmering. 3 of those blocks, 1 Elven gateway core, 2 mana pools, and 2 Natura pylons. These are the Natura pylons, and then we're going to set them up like this. So the pylons from Botania actually have a few uses. You can use them. They have an enchanting power of 8, which is basically like it's like having 8 bookshelves. So you can have 2 of these guys in your enchanting area, and then you don't have to have a ton of bookshelves. So we need 1 mana diamond, 2 mana steel ingots, and then to make the Natura one, we're going to need a couple of Eyes of Ender. Okay, so we got 2 of those. Now we can visualize this so that we can see exactly how it's going to fit in the world. I love this feature. I think Botania is the first mod that I ever had ever seen that did anything like this. Okay, so now we can just place the blocks where it tells us to. Well, I guess that's the one problem with setting it down like that, is now we have to okay. Alright, so we put our 2 mana pools down here. And we are going to need to get mana in these pools, of course. And 2 mana pylons. We don't need a whole lot of mana in these pools, but it takes a certain amount of mana to open the portal, and then it takes a very small amount of mana to keep it open. Okay. Oh, we need a lot more living wood. And that. How did it? 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have 3. Okay. Okay. Oops. And we're gonna need something there to place against. And when we're done, it's going to say structure complete. But it didn't, because I have the wrong thing here. Yeah, it looks like I just put, I put a regular piece of living wood there. There we go. Structure complete. Hooray! Now we got to get mana in here. Alright, I've got a whole string of mana spreaders here. You're actually better off having a bunch of them that are closer together than having few that are far apart. So, and then actually I'm going to need another one going from here to here. And mana spreaders are pretty cheap, so as long as we can afford it, I might as well. This is much faster. Oh, crap. Get in there. I don't have step assist now, because I don't have any mana. I'm going to get these maybe about half full. It's probably enough to get them quarter full, but just to be safe. Alright, I got both of them about half full. So we right click on the Elven Gateway Core, and you can see it takes a little bit of mana. Probably a total of, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of a mana pool, a quarter, or a 16th out of each. And then we get this cool little portal. Can we go in there? Well, no. We can't. But we can throw stuff in there, like our Lexica Botania. And then what we get back is another Lexica Botania with Elven Knowledge. You can see it contains 2 schools of knowledge, Minecraftian knowledge and Elven knowledge. So if we go in here, we can see the Elven Guard has left us a message. What is this? Greetings. We noticed that our portal was opened via a link from another world. That's rather shocking news indeed. We thank you very much for providing us with a repository of the knowledge from your world. As to keep us up to date to what happened since we left it, it's been a while since then. It's good to see it's doing well. After some discussion with the High Council of Elven Guard, we have decided to cooperate with you. You see, reading through your Lexica Botania has shown us a good amount of resources from your world that we would be extremely keen as to get our hands on, as these are non-existent in our lands. The link you have managed to establish is rather weak. No living beings will be able to go through it, see? Like I said. As you already know, however, there is a positive side to this. The link strikes the fabric of time of both of our worlds in a way where it doesn't keep them in sync. That's the reason why you received your book back so quickly. When it comes to mana and other magical energies, we are plenty stocked on them, so worry not about the portal closing on our end. Let's put this in prospect. In order for the advance of both of our civilizations, we vow to accept a given set of resources from your world we lack in ours in exchange for resources you lack in yours. We have taken the liberty of assigning our best scribes to put together a great set of knowledge from our world we're willing to share with you. You can find it in your lexicon, just as you'd find knowledge from yours. We hope you find it enlightening and that it encourages you to invest in our materials. Last but not least, do keep in mind that if you decide to send something we have not vouched to trade for, we will assume it as a gift and keep it ourselves. Just as a forewarning, we look forward to exchanging resources with you. Regards, the High Council. So now we have all this new information in here about the Ritual of Gaia, which we will be getting into very soon. Some Elven lore, and the Relics of Aesir, which we will also get into. But as they said, there are certain things that we can trade with them, and this is one of them. And that gives us these Dragon Stones. So those are 2 mana diamonds, which were diamonds that we put in a mana pool, and they give us Dragon Stones. I'm actually going to get rid of these right now. Oh, that one actually had mana in it. Oh well. And this will stay open for a very long time on just what we've got in here. So we don't have to worry too much about that. We have plenty of time to get the spark set up. So we'll do that next. But in the meantime, we can now make our crystal bow. Hooray! But we do need some mana infused string, which is pretty easy. And some living wood, or a living wood twig. It's interesting that 2 logs gives you a twig. Oh, I guess we need more logs. And the dragon stones, the crystal bow, hooray! So before we play around with our bow, I would like to get these things set up so that they continue to receive mana. Now we can just shut this thing off. I think, is it just by going like that? No, I think we have to break. If we break a block, I mean, you could set up a piston or something to use to actually or to automatically shut it off, and then it wouldn't use mana. But do keep in mind that it does take more mana to open it than it does to just keep it open, like, over time. Although it depends, you know, it depends how long you're going to go. If you're not going to use it for a really long time, then it might be worthwhile to shut it off so it doesn't use mana. Yeah, I'm not going to do that quite yet because we're going to be using it very shortly. Now, what did I do with those sparks? Did I set them up already? Oh, yeah, you can't see them because they're in the pylons. That's weird. They used to go above the pylons, but it looks like now they go in them. That might make it kind of difficult to work with. Okay, so now we've got the sparks over here, but it's not taking mana, right? What's the problem? Well, the problem is that there's no priority with the sparks, so it doesn't know that... Ooh. Is that going to reach that far? How come I can't click on the spark? Oh, there we go. There we go. Yes, it reaches the one, but not the other. Ooh, that's kind of a little bit of a problem. So to set the priority on our sparks, we're going to need something called spark augments. And we did need the portal to Alfheim in order to make these. So this, because it requires this pixie dust, which is mana pearl, put in there. So we're going to need 1 ender pearl for each. Well, this one we don't really need. That's going to pull when it needs it. But we do need a spark, or we need a augment for this one and for those 2. So we're going to need 3 augments for now. Eventually we're going to need a lot more than that, but let's just make 3 for now just so that we can play around with these. So there's a few different types of augments. We have a dispersive augment, which will disperse mana in the air, so it will actually fill up our mana tablet. It's kind of wireless wireless mana refill, whatever. And then we have the dominant. A dominant spark, or a spark with a dominant augment, will pull mana from other non-dominant mana pools, as long as they don't, as long as they're not dispersive or dominant themselves. And then the recessive mana pool will disperse mana to other sparks, as long as the other sparks are not recessive themselves. So what I would normally do is I would put a recessive on the receiving pool. So that one's the one that's getting mana. It's going to send mana out to all the other pools around. Right now it's just the other 2. So we'll start with that. Oh, actually we have to do the pixie dust first, and then we need runes of water, which we already have. And then what I've decided I'm going to do to kind of fix this situation where, you know, when we right click on this to see the range, we see that it doesn't, the box is wrong. Like, I have to be at a very strange angle in order to click on this thing. Oh, you know what's going on is our morphing tool is not turning into the wand of the forest, because it's not seeing this as a block. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to go like this. We have to put it in our offhand. Get rid of the shield. There we go. Okay. So you can see that it's reaching that one, but it's not reaching the one way over here. So, but I don't know how. This is, I think this is a bug because that spark is supposed to be above this, like in a separate block. So I don't know if we're gonna have trouble getting the augments on these. But what I've decided is I'm gonna make this one nothing. I'm not gonna put an augment in this one at all. But because that one is recessive, it's going to send mana to this one. And it's going to fill this one up until it's full, and then it'll fill itself up. On this one, I'm going to put a dominant spark. And then this one will get mana from that one. Because this is dominant, and that is neutral, basically. So that pool will fill this pool up. So this pool will fill up first, then this pool will fill up, then this pool will fill up. And that's for now. We're gonna have more pools out here later with different configurations. So we only need one recessive, which requires a rune of earth, and then one dominant, which requires the rune of fire. And I think we have both of those extra. And then we have the isolated, which basically, well, as you might guess, isolates it from the other pools. I have not found a use for those yet. I don't know why you would even want a spark on a pool if it were isolated. But, I don't know. Maybe you know of a reason why you would want to use those. If you do, let me know. So I'm going to grab a couple of ender pearls. And then I'm going to throw them in here. And get 2 pixie dusts. Oh, by the way, that part about gifts that we read in the thing, if we throw something in here that isn't, that there's no recipe for, basically, we just lose it. We just gave a gift to the elves, and they're like, hey, check this out. And they don't give us anything back. So one reset. Oh. Alright, so it looks like we have to make a rune of earth. But we don't have to make a rune of fire. So we'll start with this one. This is our dominant spark. This one goes way over here. Oh, crap. It doesn't work because the stupid pylon is in the way. I wonder if I break the pylon. Now that's going to break our portal, but that's okay. And then put the augment in. And then put the pylon back on. Yeah, you can see that one's emptying out into this one now. Where is the pylon? There it is. Okay, so it's still working after we put the pylon on there. Block of stone, a block of coal, a mushroom, a mana steel, and a mana powder. Yay! And then we need our living rock. Oh, by the way, that little bug with refined storage having to do with the wireless network being from the controller, no matter where you put the transmitter, has been fixed, but I just haven't set it up yet. Wait, what's going on? Oh, I don't have a mana pool. I mean, a mana spreader over here anymore. Okay. There we go. That was fixed like maybe 2 or 3 days after. Well, it was fixed like the day after I reported it, and then it was released like maybe a couple days after. Ah. Hey. Oh. Now what are we missing? Darn it. Oh, we need another mana steel ingot. Okay. Oops. Alright, there's our recessive spark. As soon as I put this in here, we're going to see mana shooting from here to there. There we go. Hooray! And it's pretty much going to empty this mana pool out. We might have to expand on our Endo Flames a little bit, because it looks like this one is just about full. Yeah, it's full now. So now the particles have stopped flowing because this one's full. Now this one's going to get full. And in the meantime, this one's going to get empty. So we're going to have another one over here. To use for like crafting and stuff. And then we can put up a bunch of other ones for like storage, so that we can store more than one mana pool worth of mana over here. That's the nice thing about the sparks. We could have like 6 mana pools set up here, with each with a spark on it, and we'll have 6 mana pools worth of mana, and we'll have 1 dominant pool over here. And when we need mana, it'll pull from every pool, and we'll basically be increasing our buffer of mana. Let's check out this crystal bow. Except it's the middle of the day. Well, whatever. Let's take a look. If we have the Botania, Lexica Botania in our hand, we can go in here and hit the control key. Boom, and it'll open up the entry for us. So crafted with Dragonstone, the crystal bow is a ranged weapon with the capacity to generate arrows from mana. Similar to the Living Wood bow, it'll repair using mana as well. That's one of the really awesome things about most Botania items, and like the armor and everything else, is that it repairs using mana, so you don't have to screw around with repairing stuff all the time. And of course the fact that it produces arrows from mana, I mean, that's wow. It's not required because they are created through the magical energies. Given the lightweight and flexible structure of the bow, it can also fire at a much increased velocity than a conventional wooden one. So there it is. So we can get rid of our arrows, and boom. Oh. Nice. That was from quite a distance. Let's see, how much damage did we do? We almost killed it, so that was 4 hearts, 8 damage from quite a distance away. And you can see we didn't have to shoot as high as we might have otherwise. But I'm not satisfied with that. Let's get this guy enchanted. Wow, look at that. Power 3 right away. Nice. Definitely gonna take that. Hooray, power 3 and punch 1. Look at that, that's exactly what we had before. Power 3 and punch 1. Beautiful. And let's not stop there. Let's take another power 3. That's what we had, right? Power 3, yeah. Another power 3. Oh, I just wasted a bunch of XP. But that's okay, we've got plenty. And then we need 4 XP, so just so as not to waste anything. Hooray, power 4, punch 1. That is going to be an awesome bow. Oops. Ah! You weren't supposed to move. Hey! Stop moving, you guys. That's not surprising that we could one hit pigs, but let's see what happens when night comes. Hello, zombie. Let's see. What did we do? Okay, so he's got 1.5 hearts left. That's 3 points. So that means we did 17 damage. Of course, we can kill him with a second shot. Hooray! I would have liked to be able to one hit, but I'll take it. We could probably one-hit spiders. Yay! We can one-hit something anyway. Yay, we have our crystal bow! And I think we are more than ready to take down the Ender Dragon. Probably pretty easily. I mean, with our flight, with our living armor, and all of its little buffs, and our crystal bow. I think the Ender Dragon is going to be pretty easy, though this is going to be the first time that I'll be meeting the Ender Dragon since 1.8. So this will be my first time experiencing all the changes in the end. So that I'm kind of looking forward to that. But mostly I just want ender pearls. That's all. So in the next episode we'll be going to the end, and depending on how much time we have left, we may just kind of run around and explore the end, or we might get started on our forestry farm. I'll have to think about that and decide. And then when we come back to Botania in the following episode, after we do those things, we're gonna get into the Gaia fights. So we're gonna start fighting the Gaia Guardian, or preparing for it anyway. I think we might make some Terrrasteel armor. We might just try it with this armor. I'm sure that we could get the tier 1 Gaia Guardian with this armor, probably without any problems at all. Well, it'll still be a tough fight, it always is, but I think we can handle it with this armor, but I'm not sure about the tier 2. We'll have to see. Again, the nice thing about the Botania armor is that it uses mana for durability. So if we have a full mana tablet, or mana ring, actually by that time we'll probably make ourselves a ring of mana, or greater ring of mana and such, and we'll be able to and we won't have to worry about our armor breaking, because that sucks when your armor breaks when you're fighting the Gaia Guardian, because he does deliver a lot of damage to your armor. So I hope you join me for that. If you do have any questions or comments or anything else, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And if you happen to notice that the videos haven't been coming as quickly, and they might be a little shorter, and I haven't been responding to comments quite as quickly lately, that is because, again, my son and I are in skate camp this week, so I haven't had a whole lot of time. But if you did leave a comment and I haven't gotten back to you yet, I will get back to you very shortly, probably this weekend. And feel free to leave another one for this video. And don't forget to click that like button if you did enjoy this. And join me next time. Thanks for watching.